I thought I would give you a short tour of the grounds that we use for the horses here in Kalamos. I'm now at the most southern point of the field we call the winterfield. This is where they are during the winter for 3 months. And I've just put some olive branches on the ground here in this spot that I found in the fields opposite of the road. The trees have been pruned, and we are allowed to take away the dried branches, otherwise they would be burned. And every now and then I go get some and spread them out in this area of the field so the horses can find them during the night after they have finished their hay. This field that we use in the winter time, it's about 7 or 8 stremata, depending on how much forest you count with it, where it has been overgrown. It borders to another field, this one on the other side of this fence, and this one, the neighboring fence, we are kindly allowed to use too. In the daytime I leave the horses out there for some time. There's not really very much growing there anymore, but they find something to nibble, and so they're there while I'm preparing the hay boxes and clearing the poo and doing other small chores. And thanks to the very mild winter, the grasses and herbs have been growing here all winter, so there's still something for them to find. Not much, but that's good. It's winter. They shouldn't have too much green at the moment. That will start beginning of April. We will leave them into the fields, but for now it's good that they have some additional fresh food next to their hay. A little higher up in the field is this beautiful area with this really magnificent tree in the center. It's a kind of a circle, and this is where we had the hay boxes in the first winter, because it's so nicely sheltered from, well, if that's snowing or raining, the trees give a nice cover. And it's a special place, this. It has a nice atmosphere, especially with this beautiful tree in the middle. This is the lowest part of the field. The storms in September have deposited some very nice soil here, and I've sown some seeds here, plants that need a little bit more humidity during the hot summers. I've planted some nettles, which horses really love, and they've made their small paths through the area to connect to other parts. And here's where you get into it. This is the arena, not very functional, I'm afraid, at the moment. We'll get back to that later. And, well, it's olive trees, but they have been neglected for 35 to 40 years, so they're very overgrown, with a kind of a climber that the horses really love, so they're picking it out of the trees and eating it. Wide lanes between the trees, and really big grown olive trees, beautiful olive trees. They don't produce much at this state, but that's not what we have the grounds for after all, so it doesn't really matter. Here in the background is the fence that's the border with the forest, but there are still olive trees in there, so I suppose part of it also officially belongs to this land. We made some paths There's one over there that leads through the forest to the other side, to the fields behind. And from the water barrels there's a small path to the house where we get our water from. And here's the Pooh mountain that has been building the last 2.5 months. And there are the first hay boxes. There are 6 hay boxes in total, one for every horse. And unfortunately the nets that I bought this year are not of a very good quality. After 3 weeks already the first holes appeared, and every 2-3 days I have to fix the very, very big holes that have fallen into the net. The barn where we keep the hay and straw and clover. It's already halfway through what we had in the start. We only need for another 3 weeks or something like that, so we have enough. And it's a wonderful space to work when it's wet. And made the bags in which we bring the hay to the boxes. And this is the shelter that we had built for the horses. During this winter they've also been using it to stay cool. We can see when we arrive in the afternoons that they've been here. But it's mainly of course for rain and for snow and strong winds, and they use it a lot. All 6 of them fit into it easily. It's very functional. We're very happy with it. And, a very good space. This is the far end of the field. In those branches, in front of those branches, I planted some climbing trees. So eventually the whole shelter will be out of sight from the road. And behind the shelter there's this nice little enclosed area. Beautiful tree shelters it, and the trees that hang over from the forest. The horses stand here a lot. And so it's very functional. And here is a far entrance, last entrance to the neighbor's field, which is at least 3 times as big as this one. What's nice about the tracker that we recently bought is that we can see that within these 7 or 8 stremata that the horses are in all night, is that they walk at least 8 or 9 kilometers every night. They just move around and use the space very well, looking for tidbits or the straw that we leave here on the grounds in the night for them to find when their boxes are empty. So all in all, this is a beautiful field which is very functional, and we're very, very